I'm Paul Fuqua with Shannon Insurance in Portland, Tennessee, and today we're going to talk about young drivers and tips for insuring young drivers. Many people will come to us and say, well, what's the best way to insure my young drivers? Should I put them on our policy with the family? Should we write a different policy and just have them on that policy? And there's a number of different ways to handle a risk. And with a young driver, being the father of two sons who are now in their 20s, I feel your pain because my sons are 3 years apart. And so when one turned 16, I had one that was 13. And then when the 16 turned 19, I had a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old. So I understand how this works as a parent. So what I always encourage people to do is when they have a young driver is to buy a safer, older car, possibly a car or a truck, maybe 10 years old. You know, you want something that's safe, that has airbags. Larger is better, okay, but not too large. And so if grandma has an old sedan that she's not driving anymore, that big four-door Buick or Oldsmobile or Ford or Chevy, there's a lot of metal in those cars because most young drivers have accidents, okay? That's why their rates are higher. So I always encourage someone to get an older vehicle and put liability-only coverage on it and have high liability limits, so if or when they do have an accident and they hit another party, that there's enough coverage in there to pay for that damage and injury to the other party. Because if you think about it, what is easier to recover from? The loss of maybe a $3,000 or $4,000 car, or from a $250,000 loss if you're not insured adequately. So I always encourage people who come to me, don't go out and buy your 16-year-old a brand new vehicle because chances are they're going to damage it, okay, in an accident. So if you get an older vehicle, it's less expensive to insure. If it's a larger vehicle, it provides more protection for your young driver in the size of the vehicle and the airbags. And so, and again, it is less expensive to insure. Okay, so that is the tip that I have for young drivers and insuring young drivers. And you generally will add those to the parents' policy because the parents' policy already has other vehicles on it. It has mom and dad who are generally pretty good drivers. No company really wants to take a 16-year-old driver that's insured by themselves and put it on their own policy because the premium is very high. So generally, you will add that young driver to the family policy, and the price offset will be helped by the parents' driving history, their vehicles, because you'll get multi-car discounts, and multi-policy because the parents own a home. And so that is the proper way to insure a young driver. For more information on topics like this, contact us at Shannon Insurance in Portland, Tennessee.